always had an inkling to roam. I started running away when I was 6. And I took a suitcase very dramatically, and I emptied my dresser drawer into the suitcase, and I closed my suitcase and I took off. And I guess I'd seen it in a movie, like an old movie, and this woman was leaving her husband or something and threw her dresser drawer, I got into the suitcase and took off, and somehow it stayed in my mind, and I did that, and I ran away. And then I caught sight of my mom looking for me. She's really upset. And I was like, oh, fuck, I can't believe it. Just upset my mom. And I'm like, I'm here I am. And she's like, grabbed my suitcase. She's like, well, what did you take with you? And she opened it, and it was full of socks, because I pulled my sock drawer out. That's all I had.
Sometimes I sometimes I hate, and sometimes I need, and sometimes I breathe.
Right? And I think maybe that's where I get my sense of drama sometimes, is I call on that environment, right? As just sweeping landscapes and long open roads and big sky and dramatic electrical storms and all that kind of stuff. So
It's a very intense place to grow up.
it is. I think it really is. And you can't explain it to anyone. It just, it sounds like southwestern Ontario, but it really is. You have to experience it to know what it is. It sounds like a travelogue, like we're promoting a tourist attraction, but it really isn't. It isn't like that for me. It was really my place to leave everything and go. Like I loved taking the train and getting there and being picked up in the truck and driving 45 minutes to get to the farm, and then just being in the middle of nowhere.
And sometimes I believe.
I wanted to act, I wanted to do something else that was more personal, because my family are all artists. They never went to school for art, they just were artists and somehow made livings of it or figured it out, but I think that was different times. And for me, I wasn't really interested in staying in one locale. I really wanted to see the world, I really wanted to see what was really out there, rather than the National Geographics that my mother would give me as a kid, which were informative and educational in their own way, but not the same as going off and seeing things. And obviously, as a model, I'm not going to experience National Geographic per se, but I did experience what it was like to see different cultures and be in different parts of the world. Amsterdam, and I was like,
What did you do there?
I shaved my head. I was living with a bunch of boys in the basement of a bank making electronic music, and really poor, and the only chick, and everybody else was like really geeky, like they were so into their gear. And we made a demo in 2 weeks. And the first day we started, all the gear blew up because one of the guys from Canada brought all his gear over, but the adapter wasn't right. The adaption wasn't right electronically for the gear. So it sent some sort of weird fuse thing through his gear and the other guy's gear, and it just all went. Other sort of ways that I've survived as an artist.
Yeah.
But music has always been the one thing that it doesn't matter whether I'm rich or I'm poor or I have nowhere to live or I'm alone or I'm surrounded by a lot of people or any number of wonderful things that could happen, it's always there.
You're always going to make music, basically.
It's always there, yeah. It's a ground beneath my feet that seems to always be there, or like a net. So.